All right, where are we at now?
All right, Cal Raleigh was talked to after the game. Obviously, the Mariners lose a heartbreaker. They were up 3-1, give up a 3-run home run in the bottom of the seventh to George Springer. They lose 4-3. He had a home run in the game, and they were asked basically about whether this season was a failure. The Mariners are the only team not to win a pennant. Forget about winning a World Series, but actually winning a pennant to go to the World Series. That's what the pennant would be if they would have won yesterday. And remember, they won the first 2 games in Toronto. So they had to lose 4 out of 5 not to make it to the World Series. And here was his answer when they asked him about the season. He said it very quietly, didn't he?
I hate to use the word failure, but it's a failure. And that's what we expected, was to get to a World Series, win a World Series, and that's, what the bar is and the standard is, and, that's what we want to hold ourselves accountable to. But, it hurts.
All right. There's a real-time answer and a real-time gut feeling and a real-time sadness to it, and I believe him. He feels it's a failure. He feels they were let down. We were right there. You mentioned it. You go in there, you steal 2 in Toronto. You're feeling good about it. The odds are in your favor. You're up in Game 7. You hit a home run, and to lose, it feels like a failure. But this is where I disagree with him. I think time will reveal. Right now, he's in the middle of it. Right? You ask him immediately, you put a mic in his face after a tough Game 7 loss, chance to go to World Series. Of course he's going to say it feels like a failure, but I disagree. And the reason why is the specific sport. Baseball is hard. Baseball is unique in that it's a team sport, but it's the most individualized team sport, right? And so many guys are considered greats who didn't even sniff a World Series opportunity. So many guys are great who maybe got to the World Series but didn't have it. We say sometimes, a lot of people believe Barry Bonds is the greatest player ever. He doesn't have it. Obviously, went to World Series, but doesn't have one. Mike Trout for some years, man, where is he? One of the all-time greats. Doesn't have one as well and has not even made the postseason in eons. Baseball is just different like that, where you can be remarkable. Your team can have a really good run. They can have an incredible season, and it doesn't have to hinge on simply did you win a title. Basketball is like that because you have a Steph Curry, a LeBron in his prime, a Kobe in his prime, you fill in the blank. And usually with that, that's 20, maybe even 40%, depending on how you look at it, because the guy plays offense and he's played defense. He can be that spectacular. Play 42 of the 48 minutes. And if you have Jordan, you have LeBron, you have Shaq, you expect to win a title in the next 10 years, depending on how long they're with your team. So it's a little bit different. If you're the Patrick Mahomes and them, you feel like we got Andy Reid, we got Patrick Mahomes, we got a few of the same pieces. We expect to win titles. It's a failure if we don't. Baseball is just tricky like that. Cubs sold out for eons. People, they didn't win for 100 years or whatever it was. The Red Sox didn't win for eons, and they still consider him. People love him. They go to the games, and obviously it sucks and you want to win, but it's not considered a failure. Baseball is just a completely different sport in that regard. So, again, in the real-time moment, I totally fully expect him to feel that way, but I think as time goes by, he'll feel differently because it's a unique sport in that you don't have to just win to still be considered great. You don't have to have World Series titles to be considered great. You can be great, a team can be really good, and not be penalized as you would be if you're a great quarterback in the NFL. If you don't go to the Super Bowl and you're a great quarterback, you can get penalized. If you're a star player in the NBA, you never win a title or get to the finals, you can be penalized and be deemed for that. It's different in baseball. So I don't think it's a failure. I think he's going to look back and feel differently at some point.
Yeah, I disagree. It was a failure. And in this standpoint, it's one thing if they had a really good team all year. They did all these things that they want to accomplish, and then they were up 2-0. It wasn't like you got swept and you were overmatched, and then people say, well, they lucked into the playoffs and they really weren't that good. No, people really thought that they were that good.
I mean, I picked them to get to the World Series.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. So you did, and then they win the first 2 games. The only way you don't win is you got to lose 4 of the next 5. 3 of those 5 games are in your own building. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
So when they look at it, it's hard. It was like I told you before with the Knicks and why Tibbs got fired. You beat the Celtics, the defending champs. Mm-hmm. Now Indiana's coming to your crib and you go, everybody in New York, the Knicks are going to the finals. Oh, my God, they beat the Celtics, and now they just got to beat the Pacers. Pacers beat them last year in 7 games. You remember the Knicks had some injuries, whatever. The Pacers won. This year, You're up by 14 or whatever it was, 16 with 2:43 to go, and you choke down that game. Then you don't even fight back in game 2 at home. You lose that game. And I'm telling you, if you go ask people and say, well, last year the Knicks got to the conference finals for the first time in eons, and my God, is that a great season? No, that was a failure because something was sitting there. And that's why I think the Mariners could obviously look at it. They didn't get blown out 10-0 in game 7. They were up 3-1 with needing 7 outs, right? 8 outs, because it was in the 7th inning with 1 out. So they were 8 outs away from going to the World Series for the very first time in their franchise history. You think Cal Raleigh is going to hit 60 home runs again? Like, this is one of those moments and situations you want to capitalize because everything worked out for you. And then you go, oh, we're going to get 60 home runs again next year? We're going to have this go right? Or the Rangers going to be banged up? And are we going to win a division? You know, all these other things you start to look at. And you know how hard it is because you've seen the Yankees with their payroll haven't won a World Series since 2009. It ain't automatic that you get to go back next year and you're in that position. That's why for him to say it's a failure, I know it sounds harsh, but it is a failure for Seattle.
And I absolutely hear you, but for so many reasons, that's why I think he's going to eventually look at it. We talk about Seattle and how they haven't done much. They haven't had great seasons. They haven't had, and not to mention him personally, a historic personal season, which in baseball is a great ride for the fan base, right? They take this ride with him. They go through home run setting, most home runs for a catcher, most home runs for a switch hitter, most home runs in franchise history. All of those things matter as a part of the season. And I'm telling you, fans himself, they're going to look back as they get further away and be like, man, that was an incredible season. It sucks that we didn't get there, and that burns for a while and burns forever. But the idea that the season was a failure, I don't think he's going to feel that way as time goes by. You put a mic in his face in that moment, absolutely he's going to say that. Fans might feel that, but I think
I'd rather hear him say that if I was a fan rather than Giannis saying when they lost, it wasn't a failure, or what was his exact thing, Rob G? He was just kind of poo-pooing the whole, and nobody lost or whatever. Like that whole notion, I'm not buying that because we do keep track of who wins and who loses. Steps to success, which you lost. Doc Rivers could sit there and go, what did he say? Oh, I don't know how many people lost that many games.
Oh, yeah. Doc, no. Doc is the worst of all time.
Yeah, that was what, right?
Doc
his
making up excuses for him. He was basically saying, you know how hard it is to even get to the playoffs?
Right, that's what I'm saying, right.
Yeah,
more than half the league makes the playoffs, Doc. Yeah. What part don't we understand?
Tripping. Doc was tripping.
All right.
All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.